Hi there, everybody. Russ Lewis here in the KHOU newsroom. Thank you for joining us on a Tuesday afternoon, just before 3 o'clock here, 10 till on a Tuesday. And welcome to all of you on our digital platforms. We have a couple of stories here we see you clicking on we're going to discuss in just a minute. But first, we need to go over to Blake Matthews and talk about the weather because some storms are popping up out there. Some of them pretty heavy, it looks like, Blake.
Up there on the north side of Harris County, moving up into the Woodlands and Oak Ridge North. Also some heavy rain out there on the southwest side of town, getting into the Wharton County area as well as Colorado County. We'll detail it all in just a second. There's a live look out over downtown. Not a whole lot going on there locally. Temperature 88 degrees up at the big airport. They are reporting lightning and thunder right now. So there's a look at the radar. You can see big thunderstorms continuing to move right on through the area with the sea breeze, all things in part to a disturbance down in deep South Texas. So let's zoom right on in first off into northern Harris and southern Montgomery County. Those of you out there in the Oak Ridge North area, Imperial Oaks, maybe out towards just to the west of Harmony. This is going to be right along 99, Burnham Woods Drive, Imperial Oaks Boulevard, Rayford Road, getting all the way up towards 242 and to the south of Conroe, picking up some very heavy thunderstorms right now. Now, these are not severe. That's the important part. They're not severe, but boy, they are putting down a ton of rain. Could pick up a quick ½ to 1 inch of rain as these push on through in a very short amount of time. So those of you out towards the Woodlands, heads up. This is moving in your direction, as well as areas on the south side of Conroe. Some big thunderstorms out there towards Jersey Village earlier this afternoon. Those have since pushed off to the north just a little bit out towards the 1960 area. So once again, there's 99 out there towards Klein, just to the east of Tomball. Those of you out along 1960 in the Champions area picked up some very heavy rain. That is now beginning to come to an end as these storms continue to pull on off to the north. So once again, if you're headed up the North Freeway, right here, or the Hardy Toll Road this afternoon, once you get north of the Beltway, north of the Greens Point area, you're going to run into some very heavy thunderstorms and likely some stalled out traffic there as the rain continues to come down pretty heavy. Now, up here in Walker County, we're dealing with a big thunderstorm, maybe a little hail on that one as well, just to the north of Huntsville. This continuing to pull on off towards the north in the general direction of Lovelady. Now, down here on the southwest side of town, there's East Bernard, there's I-10, the Katy Freeway right there. There is 59, the Southwest Freeway. We've got El Campo getting out towards the Wharton area. But look at this, we've got an aerial flood advisory now out towards the Garwood area, and that's because we're picking up 1 to 2 inches of rain very, very quickly with this particular cell that continues to generally sit in one spot just to the west and southwest of Eagle Lake. Now, those of you watching here from Galveston County, getting into Brazoria County, Angleton, Richwood, Freeport, Bay Harbor, Santa Fe, League City, Dickinson, and even Pearland, really not a whole lot going on here locally right now. That's so if you're looking for some nice weather, maybe the beach is where you need to be for the afternoon. But once again, we're continuing to monitor this big complex of storms up there. Getting out towards the northwest side of town. So there's Bush Airport right there. They were picking up some rain earlier. Doesn't look like they're too impacted at the moment. Most of the rain continues to be to the west of I-45 and now pushing up through 99 and getting up into southern Montgomery County. So once again, those of you out towards Chateau Woods, Oak Ridge North, the Woodlands, heads up, these are headed your direction. And look how widespread it is, all the way from the southwest parishes of Louisiana. We're talking Beauregard, Cameron, Calcasieu parishes, getting up towards Vernon Parish, all the way out towards central Texas here. This is getting into Limestone and Freestone counties. This is, say, out towards the Buffalo area, stretching all the way down into deep South Texas, just through the Corpus Christi area and almost down to Brownsville. And the reason why is we enhance the satellite a little bit. You'll notice, look at the turn right there near Corpus Christi. That's an upper level low that is really causing a lot of lift here across the upper Texas coast. When you get a lot of lift and a hot atmosphere, all that moisture condenses. And guess what? Storms begin to form, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And it appears that we're going to see even more rain as we get into your Wednesday. In fact, we have upped the rain chance to about 50% for tomorrow. So take a look at the future track here. This is beginning this afternoon at 5 o'clock. You'll notice most of the showers beginning to fade away as we lose the heating of the day. But as we head into your Wednesday, it does appear that we're going to have several rounds of rain push on through the areas. Keep that umbrella handy just in case for one more day, and then I think things dry out as we head into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, let's take a look at temperatures. Well, we'll show you the 7-day coming up in just a second, but temperature-wise, pretty much all over the board. You see these yellow spots popping up? That is rain-cooled air, showing 78 degrees right now up in Huntsville. It's probably not a bad guess. 91 degrees in Sugar Land, 92 at Bush. The bottom line is temperatures all over the board depending on where it's raining and where it is not. So if it's not raining, obviously going to be quite a bit hotter. Take a look at the tropics. By the way, today, September the 10th, is the statistical peak of the hurricane season. One thing that we're watching a couple of systems. This one definitely has my attention as it continues to track towards the eastern Gulf of Mexico, where we could see some development here getting south of the Florida Panhandle as we get into the weekend and into early next week. Now, what happens to this system once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico remains to be seen. Some computer models do favor the northern Gulf Coast to bring quite a bit of rain in that general area, but something we're going to keep an eye on. We've got a long time to watch this as it continues to make its way in that general direction. The other one that I'm watching very carefully is this one that just came off the African coast. Some of the computer models do make this into a hurricane as it pushes out towards north of Puerto Rico. We'll continue to watch this a long ways away from the islands, at least a week. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on it. Right now, not a whole lot going on out there in the Atlantic. Once again, we are dealing with the statistical peak of the hurricane season. Today, September the 10th. From here on out, things slowly begin to fade down. All right. Over the next couple of days, we're up to actually to a 50% chance of storms for tomorrow, 20% on Thursday, drying out Friday into Saturday, and then your garden variety showers and storms as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as temperatures remain in those mid to upper 90s. So, Russ, we're not quite done with summer yet.
Thanks, Blake. I've been reading through some of your comments here as Blake was giving us the forecast. You've been checking in. We appreciate that. So we see you out there. Gloria saying that it's a thundering in Brenham right now. Monique, you say it's raining hard at your place. And Kat says rain just came through her area. Shauna says it's thundering in Spring. And Alexis telling us thunder and lightning in Conroe, but no real rain. But she can smell it coming, she says. Kat says her yard needs that rain. Rain in the Woodlands, Remy saying that. And who else? Carol said we had a little bit of rain here in Pasadena. Someone checking in from Wyoming today, and somebody from Anchorage, Alaska too. So we appreciate you watching wherever you are today. We'll have, of course, the full weather forecast with Blake coming up on the 411 on the TV side, coming up at 4 o'clock. A couple of the stories you're clicking on here on our website that we want to get to today, and we can see they're of interest to you. The big one, it actually goes back to 4th of July and a bad accident that happened down near Galveston. But the family is just now speaking about what happened. So here's, this family is down in Galveston getting some fireworks, heading out of Galveston. They're going to shoot off the fireworks that night. A couple of small children in the back seat. Dad accidentally cuts off another driver, and they get into it. The other driver pulls out a gun and starts shooting at the vehicle with the two little kids in it and the family. And just a freak accident. It ignites the fireworks. The bullet ignites the fireworks that start going off inside the car with the little kids inside. It sets the car on fire. And here's what we're hearing from Dad today about how he rescued his kids. He said that a voice told him what to do to rescue his smallest child. His name's Reginald Smith. And as this fire started, he pulls over. He's able to get his 2-year-old out of his car seat rather easily. Messiah, he's in the back seat. But Bentley, the 1-year-old in the car seat, he can't get him out. And you can imagine what the dad is feeling. For several minutes, he's struggling to get this child out and get him out of the burning vehicle, and he just can't do it. He can't figure out how to do it. He's getting desperate. He's starting to suffocate from all the smoke in the vehicle. And then he said everything got real quiet, and he heard a voice just clear as day say in his head, if you pull him out by his arms, he will come out. And that's exactly what the dad did. And that's how Bentley got out of that burning vehicle. And so Dad was able to save both of his kids. They suffered some burns. It was pretty bad. They both have been at Shriners Galveston for, since that happened on July 4th, and multiple skin grafts and other surgeries to repair the damage. But both of the children survived, and they appear to be on the road to recovery here. So that's the good news. But we thought it was a very interesting story, and apparently you do too, with all the people clicking on our website to read this, about how the dad just had this moment of clarity and a voice, the voice of God, the voice of someone telling him what to do to save his child who was about to succumb to those flames in the back seat. So as for the shooter in this case, it was a teenager who turned himself in a few days after that, admitting what he did, now facing several counts of aggravated assault in that case. The other story you're clicking on today, and this is interesting, if you haven't renewed your driver's license recently, especially if you're older, this is something you may encounter that a lot of people are finding when they go to DPS to renew their driver's license. Not get a new one, just renew the one they already have. Maybe they've had it for 40, 50, 60 years, but now DPS wants to see a birth certificate as a form of ID. Maybe you don't have a passport, so they want your birth certificate. Well, a guy in North Texas found out that that could be rather difficult. He's 95. He still drives. He's still fine to drive, volunteers for his church, does a lot of stuff. He's in Corsicana. They want to see his birth certificate from 1924. The problem is he doesn't have one. He was born in a home. He never went to the hospital. You know, that's how they did it back in those days a lot of the time, right? So he could not produce one. He filled out a stack of paperwork, sent it off to the Vital Statistics Bureau, and they sent him a letter back saying, basically, you don't exist. We can't find you. So no record of you existing. This guy had a commercial driver's license for 40 years, worked for the railroad.
95 years.
He's had a valid driver's license in Texas for 60 years, and now it's expired. So what's he supposed to do? Well, that's been the question for a lot of people. That's North Texas. We went down to the DPS here locally today. David Gonzalez did, and we found a woman in line who was older and didn't have her birth certificate with her. She turned around and went home because she wasn't going to be able to get her license. We don't know if she can get that birth certificate or not, but we know a lot of people can't. So we're looking into that today, trying to figure out what you're supposed to do in this case with these rules now meant to prevent identity theft and also make sure that the person getting the driver's license is in this country legally. And so that can be used as a valid form of ID when you fly and other things, a valid government issued identification. It has to be valid, and these checks and balances have to be in place for the federal government to accept a driver's license as an ID. But that catches a lot of people like this guy in Corsicana with a big problem. So we're looking into that today. David Gonzalez will be coming up on the 411 on the TV side at 4 o'clock to tell us what he found out at DPS today. So we hope you can join Reka and myself and Blake on the 411 coming up here in just about 1 hour. So we'll see you then on the TV side. Thanks for watching on our digital platforms today. I'm Russ Lewis. Hope you have a good afternoon, and if you're somewhere where it's getting rain, stay dry.